Darryl, first of all, let's just talk about the intervening week from last week. I know you analyse every game and you sit down and do that. So what have you perhaps picked up from that you've worked on over the course of the last week?
Well, we was really disappointed. We started the game really bright, really on the front foot. The atmosphere in the ground was tremendous. We get the early goal, should have been 2-3. Game could have been, to be honest with you, out of sight. But then it went very flat. We lost our way. And we conceded poor goals, so it was a frustration. We got punished. They punished us with not too many opportunities, but they punished us on the day, and it was a missed opportunity for me and the group. The group was disappointed, but we've had this week, and we've been working hard to try and put it right for Saturday.
As the leader of that group then, how do you kind of get into the players' heads to try and say to them, well, that's out of the way now, you move on and you work on what you need to change rather than dwell on what you didn't do right?
Yeah, it's a new group, so you're working on and sussing out a lot of things as a manager, that little bit of adversity, how they're reacting when the atmosphere in the stadium does go quiet, because Rochdale got a bit of control in the game, how we manage with that, how we cope with that, what we can do better to be able to do that in the future, because it's going to happen again. So you're always working on the group and the group's mindsets individually to make sure that we respond a lot better. And I think certainly there's good things in Saturday's performance, but there was a lot that was a mentality side of things to me, and that needs to be sorted out pretty quickly. We understand the expectations are high this season, so they should be. A club of our supported size, and that's rightly so. It should be high, but there's also a new group and a new lot of players that come into that are finding the feet.
Is it sometimes a double-edged sword, that expectation that you get when you know, like you say, that people want you to do well, but it might take a bit of time to get there?
It is, but I don't want to be tarnishing that out, to be honest with you. I just think people will always judge where they want to judge. Listen, we all love the beautiful game of football, and everyone's got opinions about everything at the end of the day. But for me, it's a new group, near enough, with, what's it been, 5 weeks of competitive football. That's all we've had. And if you look at my personal track record, is I don't come in for quick fixes, to be honest with you. I came in last season, done what needed to be done, but it's certainly an ongoing thing of making our squad individually and players better on the training pitch, on the physical abilities, the tactical abilities, and the mental abilities. And some people won't like to hear this, and they never do, but it does. I love to say it doesn't take time. It does take time, and sometimes you can hit that ground running. I think we've been a little bit unfortunate that we haven't got more on the points total. If I'm honest, we've missed 1 or 2 opportunities, certainly in our own games, to kick on into the top 10, into the top 7 where we want to be. But we've missed that, so we have to look for the future.
I've seen quite a bit online and what people have talked about comparisons between this year's squad and last. What have you seen in this year's squad, perhaps, that makes you think that it's either improved or upgraded in certain areas, say up front or like-for-like positions?
To be honest, I think comparisons are very, very early. We live in a world where people want to judge things, like I said, after 5 weeks competitive football, isn't it? So listen, I'm not an online fan. I'm not Twitter, social media. That's for other people to enjoy or not enjoy, or however they want to look at it. People want to assess footballers how they want to assess it, but if we're going to assess players that quickly and that early, there won't be many players playing at the top level now, would they? Because I can name a few players that are playing at the top level that had 5-6 loans and never did anything, and then they're now actually England's top goal scorer. So how early do people want to assess that? How good do they think they are? They're assessing players. Players have form where sometimes they start at clubs not so great. Then some players start better at football clubs, and it'll be built over time. And I always say, and I say this, and people have their opinions, but for me, is judge people when they've left the football club. You're judging a comparison of a club that over the I don't know how long some of the boys were here last year that's been released, but they didn't reach the targets that needed to be reached. That's fact, and we're hoping that this new group that is taking a little bit more time to bed in than we'd liked will hit them targets. But the proof will always be in the pudding. But let's be fair, and let's assess as we go along.
Is it fair to say it's maybe a transitional season this year, as opposed to one where you want to immediately do things then?
No, Phil. Listen, I'll be very, very disappointed if I don't get us in the top 7. It's as simple as that. I said it in the supporters forum the other night. Okay, this league's very, very tight. Teams can beat anybody on the day. We get that. But I believe in my group. I believe in my staff, and I believe in my group. And like, for me, if people want to have early assessments and judge these assessments, that's fine. That's football. You know, things can change very, very quickly. But for me, I believe what we're creating here is going to be building something special. But the time will tell on that.
I just wanted to ask you about Devante Rodney as well. I know he's had a few chances. He's started a few games. He's got a goal. I remember last year you kind of said to him, you need to get him fired up and you need to get him going. Is he up to that level yet?
Well, listen, Devante Rodney has Championship clubs watching him. So everybody wants to talk about Devante, what he don't do well, and you know, he didn't have a great game when he come on the other day, but there's reasons why Championship clubs and big clubs are watching Devante Rodney, because he has all the tools, and that's fact. So what we do is we keep working with Devante. I love the kid, he's a great lad. Yes, he's got things that he needs to get better on, but he'll learn and he'll progress. But not only if we want him to, though, eh? Or should we just keep talking about what he can't do? You know, everybody wants to talk about what players can't do. Well, he can't do this, they can't do that, he don't do this, he don't do that. Why don't he do this? Fortunately, they're League Two players at the minute. You know, I'm trying to make myself and my coaching staff are trying to get these players better. So, on regards to Devante, knuckle down, son. Keep getting on with your work. You've got the tools. Keep your confidence. Keep your belief, because he is a confidence player. And I've worked with players like that before that people seem to want to write off, but I have big belief in the boy.
And just finally then, in terms of the opposition against Swindon, very strange close season for them. How hard is it to prepare and get ready for a team that, you know, let's say that they were thrown together at a certain point, but is that difficult to prepare?
Listen, they've gelled well early, haven't they? They're one of the teams that, you know, Ben's gone in, new takeover, there's a good feel of it. I went to the Swindon Arsenal game the other night, went to watch it, there's a good feel around the place because they've got owners in now they believe that's going to move the club forward, so they've got that momentum in the results. But I'm sure they'll be watching us and thinking this is going to be a very, very tough game, because we're a good team. I believe we're a good team, and we'll be looking to go there to win, certainly. So we're looking forward to it.
That'll obviously expectation levels go up, haven't they? Really, in terms of, and people get excited about, you know, what the future is when you've come in, and obviously you ended the season on a high, and it looks, you know, everybody then looks to it and thinks, right, but it doesn't always figure, does it, that you can hit the ground running straight away. You've got to still build that momentum, haven't you? Yeah,
and as a manager there, you have to control your environment. I get the way of the world now when in football is everybody wants it, everyone wants success, they want it here and now, you know. But I always say this, judge people when they leave football clubs and see what the job they've done at that football club. I believe we're on the right track, albeit the results aren't as favourable as we liked at the minute. But I believe in this group. I believe in everything that we're doing at the club. As you know, and I'll keep that positive mindset. Win, lose or draw, we'll go on and move on.
Statistics can cover a multitude of sins as well, Darryl, in many ways, can't it? In many ways, and you've already alluded to that. But from time to time, patience is a key word, isn't it?
It is, but you got to take time to, you know, turn a mentality around a football club. You know, Port Vale's the last 4 years, haven't it? We've been in League Two, and it's only been in the top 7 for 11 weeks in that, and then after 10 weeks of the season, it's only been in the top 7 for 2 weeks in the last 4 years. So I'm not sat here as in, you know, I'm sat here because we need to change that. I'm sat here because we need to change that. But how do you change that? You don't just change it by talking, and you know, you change that by the work you do over a substantial period of time with a new group of players, and then you see where you end where the goals end up. And like I said, my glasses are full, George. I get down after losses, I reboot myself, but we believe the work we're going to be doing here will bring fruition.
But there are fine lines, Darryl, and you're seeing a lot of positives, aren't you, really? Maybe it's just that little touch, isn't it, somewhere along the way, which will turn. And luck comes and plays a part, Darryl, doesn't it?
It does, but we want to make our own luck. You make your own luck. For me, my job as manager is making sure that mentality of going a goal up at home, conceding and then letting it be flat is not good enough. I have to change that with my players, making sure that doesn't happen, that we respond in a better manner than I thought we did on Saturday, certainly in our own games. And then obviously you need good home form to be successful, but we're more than capable of doing that.
you're very meticulous in your research, and you've told us consistently when you go home you really do all the research. Weekends must be a very, very hard situation for you. I mean, who do you bounce off? If you've got to bounce off board, I mean, do you bounce off Andy? Do you bounce off Dave Flitcroft? I mean, who motivates Daryl Clarke?
Yeah, I get this question asked a lot, and I was speaking to my staff about it the other day. After managing the games I've managed now, and I haven't got the answer, George. I have not got the answer. That I am what I am. I don't want to speed to people particularly. I want to crack on. I want to reboot myself and make sure that Monday we're analysing, refocusing, and ready to go again. But it's a tough, long 2 days, and people. I'm not sat here because I need. I'm sat here because as a football manager, I love my job, but I'm sat here to win, and I want to be successful, and I want to do well for people at this football club. So then you hurt for those 2 days. You hurt, and then you go again. But there's no magic wand to fix that. Just win every week, which unfortunately for a low league manager is not going to happen, is it?
Are you surprised the way Swindon are, because they were on the brink?
Listen, it's not where you start, George. Listen, I pull your teams up from last season. It's where you finish. Hey, everyone's happy with a good start and the momentum, but it can quickly swing in both ways. I've seen it before, endless times. This is a marathon, not a sprint. And like I said, I build for longevity. I build something at football clubs, I believe, that's longevity, that puts the club in a very, very good place for the future. You get a camera and follow around the work that we do on the training pitch, the work my staff do, and trust me when I say this, it'll be a lot better than a lot of clubs, in my opinion. It's not getting the results at the minute as we'd like as a consistent, but we will get there, that's for sure.
Certainly your away form in the past has proved very vital, and we saw that with the last away game at Forest Green. So you go there with confidence, Darryl, don't you?
And my glasses always are full. Prepare the lads. Next game, next project. Team goes out there, make sure we do ourselves justice and try and pick up the 3 points.